Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone. And so this is a quiet place on the side of Govardhan. We'll spend some time here and then later we'll do a little puja to Govardhan, and we will also go and we'll see about the time, how much time there is to visit other places. We have a few other places nearby in mind. I wanted to first chant the Swami Astakam, and just because it's by the mercy of the 6 Goswamis that the Holy Dharma is revealed to us, that the process of devotional service is revealed to us. So this is a song written by Srinivasa Acharya. And in the Bhakti Ratnakar, we can read how Srinivasa Acharya appeared along with Narottam Das Thakur, really at the very end, when all the associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like Rupa and Sanatan Goswamis and many others, were winding up their pastimes in the material world. So in this way, they were in a very difficult position. They were experiencing great separation. Like Narottam Das Thakur appeared after Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So just after. So that's, of course, you sort of feel like, oh my God, what happened? I missed the boat. How is it possible? So you can understand how he felt. It was just too much. But somehow or other, there was one Brahmana who had personally witnessed Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's presence, and he was telling him about Mahaprabhu. But that only increased his attachment for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Narottam's eagerness became very, very great. And then one time, he took his bath in the Padma river, and there was hit by a wave of Krishna Prem. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had deposited that Prem in the Ganga, and then that Prem had made Ganga so excited that the entire village got flooded. Subsequently, Ganga said, what do? I cannot hold this Prem. It is too powerful. It's too much. I can't contain my ecstasy. Lord Chaitanya said, you just keep it until Narottam comes, then you give it to him. So Narottam got that Prem, and the result was that his blackish body, it turned golden. And that place is called Prem Tali. We went there when we went to Bangladesh. It's now in Bangladesh, and there was like a little stream on the side, and then a big river. And they took us to the little stream, and they said, "This is the place." I said, "Forget it. I want to go there in the middle of the river." I said, "No, we can't go." I said, "No, we'll go. We'll rent a boat." He said, "There are no boats for rent here." I said, "Every boat in Bangladesh is for rent." And it was. So we went in the middle of the river, and it wasn't so deep. For hours, just looking if there was a drop left, just in case. Anyway, so that was Narottam, and Narottam met Srinivas, and Srinivas was eager. And Srinivas and Narottam, they were in Vrindavan towards the end of the pastimes of the Goswamis, and therefore the youngest of the Goswamis, named Jiva Goswami, was the one who was guiding them. And they tried to meet Rupa and Sanatan, but they were not there at the time, and they were too late. They missed them. Anyway, but they fully imbibed the spirit of the Goswamis, completely. So that is the background of this this song. I offer my respectful obeisances to the 6 Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who are always engaged in chanting the holy name of Krishna and dancing. They are just like the ocean of love of God, and they're popular both with the gentle and with the ruffians, because they're not envious of anyone. Whatever they do, they're all pleasing to everyone. And they're fully blessed by Lord Chaitanya. Thus, they are engaged in missionary activities meant to deliver all the conditioned souls in the material universe. Nana Shastra Vichara Naikani Puna. They scrutinizingly studied so many scriptures. And by doing so, they revealed the scripture with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. Basically, we are studying Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and then we're studying the Nectar of Devotion, and the 4th book is Chaitanya Charitamrita. And it was these 4 books that Srila Prabhupada highlighted. He had brahmanas at the time of an initiation read from these 4 books that he started very early. That was always part of Prabhupada's yajna. So, in this, even in like early ISKCON, and then because these 4 books are the essential literatures. So the Nectar of Devotion is written by Rupa Goswami. The Chaitanya Charitamrita is also describing us, the life of the Goswamis, teachings of the Goswamis. So in that way, Krishnadas Kaviraj is pointing out that one has to have a connection with these 6 Goswamis. So the Goswamis, they received the instructions from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu directly. It is basically Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who has established the essential activities for our sampradaya. What we do and what we don't do. For example, one could say, why are we worshipping Lord Nrsimhadev? Why? Isn't Krishna protecting against the demons? He is. So many demons he killed. So Krishna showed that actually, no, he can protect anyone from all the demons. And he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's anyway the original Supreme Lord. So Nrsimhadev is only his expansion. So why worship Lord Nrsimhadev? One can give different reasons, but the principal reason is because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did. Finished. He did. Right? So that's it. Then he set the standard, basically. So in this way we can appreciate that our movement is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement. And simply, just like another example I like to give is how we are offering our boga and we chant different mantras, pranam mantras, then we're chanting a mantra to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nama Mahavaninyaya, Krishna Prempadayate, Krishna Chaitanya Namna Gurti Sanama. And then we chant a mantra to Krishna, Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmani Taya Jagati Taya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Then we find in the Chaitanya Bhagavat when Advaita Acharya for the first time discovered that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then he began to just chant that mantra again and again and again and again. And so, Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmani Taya Jagati Taya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmani Taya Jagati Taya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. And that's very interesting to me because that mantra is sort of like, for us, like a household mantra, because we use it for offerings. Right? It's sort of like, It's in the kitchen, right? It's next to the mixer. It's part of like our everyday life. And yet that very mantra is so much part of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So again, we can see how our whole spiritual life is very much connected to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not write. He spoke. And he spoke this transcendental knowledge to Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. But he instructed them to study the scriptures. Nana Shastra Vichara Naika Nipuno. To scrutinize the scriptures and to produce quotes from the scriptures supporting what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had already instructed. So that is interesting. How they were told not just to repeat like parrots what they heard from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They were not just told, whatever you heard, now you tell the world. No, whatever you heard, yes, you tell the world, but also you collect evidence for this. You expand on it, in other words. But the same thing, same Siddhanta, no change in Siddhanta, but producing ample of evidence. So they did so. Some of the Goswamis were in the foreground, some of the Goswamis were in the background. Like we see that Gopal Bhatta Goswami, he came from Srirangam in South India. He was the son of Venkata Bhatta. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went there, and Gopal was only a child at the time when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did his tour of South India. And at that time, Gopal got the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Gopal later came to Vrindavan. And Gopal was an extraordinary scholar. Gopal Bhatta Goswami was really doing this. Nana Shastra Vichara Naika Nipuno. He was scrutinizing all the scriptures and taking many notes. He's famous for his notes. And in fact, the Hari Bhakti Vilas, that was his notes. And under the direction of Sanatana Goswami. That is why Sanatana Goswami counts as the author, because he received the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to write the book, and he engaged Gopal Bhatta, who then did basically a lot of the research. And then, so Sanatana Goswami gives credit to Gopal Bhatta Goswami, and sometimes scholars want to say Sanatana Goswami did not write the Hari Bhakti Vilas, it was Gopal Bhatta Goswami, right, like this. But we understand a little more how it really worked. But it just, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, he also made many notes on the Bhagavatam. Right? He did a very thorough study on the Bhagavatam, and he made notes on different themes. Then Jiva Goswami took these notes, and Jiva Goswami, he organized the notes in a more systematic way, and turned it into the Satsandarbhas, which is like the ultimate evidence of our Sampradaya. And if we really want to establish what is the Gaudiya Sampradaya, then we have the Satsandarbhas. And what they do is they establish, first of all, in the Bhagavad Sandarbha, they establish Bhagavatam as evidence, with clear quotes from Chandogya Upanishad as the Pancham Veda, as the fifth Veda. And after that, it basically establishes systematically the conclusions of Bhagavatam until we come to, it establishes Bhakti, it establishes Priti, it establishes Krishna. So, in this way, it is perfect. It is just it just shows our case is resting on the Bhagavatam. That's what it's showing. Our case, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it's resting on the Bhagavatam. Our case, that devotional service to Krishna is the goal of life. Savai pumsa paro dharmo yato bhaktira doksaje aitika ptiyata yatna supasidati. That will fully satisfy Bhagavatam, Bhagavatam, Bhagavatam. So the 6 Goswamis, they made everything, put everything in perspective, based on the instructions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I offer my respectful obeisances to the 6 Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who very much enriched in understanding of Lord Chaitanya and who are thus expert in narrating his transcendental qualities. They can purify all conditioned souls from the reactions of their sinful activities by pouring upon them transcendental songs about Govinda. As such, they are very expert in increasing the limits of the ocean of transcendental bliss, and they are the saviors of the living entities from the devouring mouth of liberation. It is Vrindavan is the spiritual world. Vrindavan is all the dust here is Braj Duli. It is dust coming from the lotus feet of Krishna. No one would ever step on the footprints of Krishna. The residents of Vrindavan would see the footprints of Krishna everywhere in the sand, and they would carefully walk aside because everyone worshipped those lotus feet. But how can we penetrate? How can we enter? When we hear about the ecstatic exchanges of Krishna and the gopis, not so far from here, back towards Jatipur, and then a little further, there is a nice place. What was it now? Vilachu Kund is interesting because it is said that it is a little bit off the path into the fields. And I want to go there, not today because I don't know where it is. But I'm going to find out where it is and I want to go there. Somebody knows? Really knows? No. We're going to get lost in the fields. But one time we'll go there. Simple pastime where Radharani had lost her ankle bell. Ankle bells, they get lost. So she was looking everywhere for this ankle bell, and Krishna, he arrived, and just as she's looking, he said, oh, can you help me? I've lost my flute. So she really didn't like that, That was just a bit too much, just stinging her while she's like looking everywhere for this ankle bell. Thinking, he lost my flute, and she goes like, no, come on, don't harass me now, I mean, help me find my ankle bell, And then she's looking for her ankle bell, and Krishna starts to dig in the earth, and he starts to dig up endless ankle bells, and he has a golden one, silver one. Says, which one? It's just more and more ankle bells he's digging up to a point where she, So such nice things, that's just nice. All here in Vrindavan. And of course, everywhere, nice pastimes taking place. That we approach to the Goswamis. They were studying the scriptures, and they were very much remembering Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And they always remembered that they once were very fallen. That somehow or other, although they had taken birth in Saraswat Brahmana families hailing of Karnataka originally, and then the family had moved to East Bengal, but then becoming enrolled in the service of the Nawab Hussain Shah, of the Muslim ruler, and then becoming externally more and more like Muslims, dressed in royal Muslim dress, living in a palace. Apparently, the family was a Vaishnava family from many generations. Apparently, Krishna was the worshipable deity in the family. But even then, what was left of that? Right? One might wonder. Lord Chaitanya, he says that I saved you from a ditch filled with stool. Right? He said to them, to Rupa and Sanatana. So that's Chaitanya Charitamrita. So in this way, on the other hand, we had the story of the Hansa Dutta. And in the story of the Hansa Dutta, it is describing how Radharani is overcome by separation from Krishna. And she's just come to Yamuna and has seen this cottage where in the past she had met with Krishna. And by seeing that cottage, it all comes back, and he's overwhelmed by intense separation and lies there on the ground in burning in separation. And the gopis have, the Sakis have arranged a bed of wet lotuses to cool her, and they're fanning her with wet lotuses, and that's and then Lalita goes to Yamuna to bring water and sees the swan there and chooses the swan as the messenger. And then a big conversation begins. This is the Hansa Dutta. Now, I've told you before, many of you, about the Hansa Dutta. But I just want to remind you one thing about the Hansa Dutta, is that then at the end of the Hansa Dutta, he says, I'm offering this book to my spiritual master, who is known as Sakar Malik. So he gives the Muslim name of Sanatana Goswami. Right? Why? Obviously, it is said that this is a very early book, and that it was written before they met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and that it was written before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had given the name Sanatana. Otherwise, he would have obviously said Sanatana. He would not have said Sakar Malik, some Muslim name. He would have said, no, Sanatana. But that he did not say. He said Sakar Malik. So that is very interesting, because this Hansa Dutta is dealing with very exalted emotions. It's dealing with, it shows that that they were deeply absorbed in thoughts of Krishna. So here we can look at Rupa and Sanatana. Where were they? On the one hand, in that Muslim identity. On the other hand, in the devotional identity. Certainly, many brahmanas would come to Ramakeli and would visit them there, and there would be cottages on the Ganga, and they would have discussions on so many scriptures, and especially on the Bhagavatam. And in this way, we can see they were devotees in their free time. And they made a Vrindavan there with different ghats and different holy places and different kunj, Lalita kunj, Visakha kunj, different kunj like that. There was a Radha kunj and Shama kunj in that place. So it is very interesting how they were such devotees. But when they came in connection with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, something changed. Something changed. Of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw that these men are powerful and potent, and they can push forward this Krishna consciousness all over the world in the proper form. But beyond that, right, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu added that dimension of ecstatic love. he refined it. Whatever bhakti is there, he refined the focus. He refined the depth in ecstasy, the depth in love, the depth in chanting the holy name. All that, so it was boiled down, condensed. So that's what it meant. And he emphasized that mood of separation. Otherwise, so many are saying, oh yes, my grandmother, she has tea with Krishna every day. And he comes up the stairs and, you hear the ankle bells and all these kind of things. That, yes. And so, we are looking at the 6 Goswamis. They are our role models. Their teachings are the essence of what we are doing. They give us our identity. It's like through them we find an identity. We are here in Vrindavan, we see so many Vaishnavas. Just when we go a little further, there to Jatipur, there is Mukharavinda, they say the tongue of Govardhan. But that is not the Gaudiya place. That is the Vallabha place. Another Sampradaya, Vallabha Acharya, was not fully in line with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and actually said, okay, it's always nice that they're worshipping Govardhan, but the Gaudiyas accept that the tongue of Govardhan is at Manasi Ganga. So, like this, we should know. When we approach to the Goswamis, then we will know correctly. Chakchapurnamase samandla patishrenim sada tuchavat. They gave up all this aristocracy. They kicked off all association of aristocracy as insignificant. In order to deliver the poor conditioned souls, they accepted loincloth, treating themselves as mendicants, and always merged in the ecstatic ocean of the gopis' love for Krishna, and bathed always and repeatedly in the waves of that ocean. So that is the point, is that they were residents of the spiritual world. For them, Krishna consciousness was not something they add to life. They were not so much thinking, I don't like it here, I don't like it there, I don't like this, I don't like that. Why can't we improve this? They were simply seeing that I'm in the spiritual world. Krishna is eternally there. And we are serving Krishna. And there's no difference in serving him here or serving him in the spiritual world. It's the same. The same activity, the same service. And therefore we are now with Krishna. And our role in the material world is simply to somehow or other become a conduit. A conduit that lets electricity pass. A conduit of the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. A conduit of the mercy of Krishna. That's all. That's material existence and nothing else. And then that we feed ourselves, and that we have to sleep, and that we have to take bath and drive around in something, and that you use a phone and all these cameras, and that there's this stupid internet which is strangling the world, and all these things. That is just the illusory energy. This is all part of the illusory energy. That is not our real business. That is not our real concern. Our real concern is simply to somehow or other, remember. Just like we're getting initiations. First initiations, we're fixing ourselves in practice, in sadhana bhakti. Second initiation is different. Second initiation, we're fixing ourselves in the identity of being an eternal resident of the spiritual world. That's the point. That's the essence. And then say a Brahmin initiation, yes, you go on the altar. That's the spiritual world, if you didn't know. Right? But we let you on there only with regulative principle. Yes. So the Gayatri mantras actually take us to the point of realizing fully that we are a resident of the spiritual world. That's it. That is our business and nothing else. So, yes, that is not only the idea of second initiation, that is just the idea of devotional service, and that is just our business to come to that point. That we say, I'm a resident of the spiritual world, and to act accordingly, always making arrangements for Krishna's pleasure, always making an offering for Krishna, always glorifying Krishna, always chanting the name of Krishna, somehow or other. In this way, always moving forward. So, therefore, the six Goswamis, although they were not into renunciation per se, right? They were not trying to be the most renounced and see who could fast the most and so on and all that. That was not their objective. Their objective simply was, why bother with these material things? Because they take so much energy and time, and we're just too busy glorifying Krishna. We're just too much absorbed in that, in glorifying Krishna. So, like that, they were always absorbed. And that is why they took this renounced position. So, that is the motto of our movement. Srila Prabhupada is also saying in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, he says, the householders in this movement, that's supposed to be the ones who are not so renounced, he said, but they should not try to have the same standard of life as the worldly householders. They should be ready to sort of live a more simple life. Yeah. All right, anyway, some they may have, that's okay, whatever we have. But the point is, though, the six Goswamis, they accepted this spirit of mendicants, just so they could spend all their time in Krishna Utkirtan, in loudly glorifying Krishna. They were always engaged in worshipping Radha Krishna in the transcendental land of Vrindavan, where there are beautiful trees full of fruits and flowers, which have under their roots all valuable jewels. Don't start digging. You may find no jewels, and then you say, oh, but it's not true. No, it is true, but maybe you're not in Vrindavan. Did you think about that? Because you can't buy a ticket to Vrindavan. You cannot come by car to Vrindavan. You cannot come by train to Vrindavan. Vrindavan we can only attain by consciousness. Vrindavan we can only attain by love for Krishna. We cannot just come to Vrindavan by some travel agent. That's not possible. So we may dig under the roots of the trees and not find jewels, because we're not in Vrindavan. We're just in the external covering. But by chanting Hare Krishna, by serving, by genuinely hearing and chanting Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadhu Kabunai Sravanadi Sudha Chitta Karya Udai, then we are awakening that transcendental consciousness. So, the Goswamis are perfectly competent to bestow upon the living entities the greatest boon of the goal of life. Radha Kunda Tata Kalinda Tanaya Tire Chabam Sivate. They were on the bank of the Radha Kund lake, or on the shores of the Yamuna, and sometimes at Vamsivat. There they appeared just like madmen in the full ecstasy of love for Krishna, exhibiting different transcendental symptoms in their body, and they were merged in the ecstasy of Krishna consciousness. Basically they lived here, and basically they were always on Parikrama. Just absorbed, going to holy places, but not only that, also preaching and writing the books. So by writing the books, giving Krishna consciousness to the entire world, but at the same time being here and excavating Vrindavan and establishing various places and so on. So not in a spirit of just their own bhajan, but nonetheless in deep bhajan. Right? Also not just in a spirit of running out of the door with flapping clothes, you know what I mean, and like, you know, Super Bhakta is now like, you know, in town, not like that, but going deep. For us, so difficult. Okay, is there something to do in the mode of passion? Can I jump in a car? Can I get behind a computer? Can I somehow or other, can I call somebody? Can I just, you know, run around? Can I, maybe, just, you know, without using my head. Can I do all these things? Mode of passion, yes. That comes natural to us. But to sit down in a quiet place, oh my God, help. It's scary. Right? It is, it's quiet. Oh no. Alone with your thoughts, help. Right? Intense. Right? God knows what could come up. Anything, you know, things you have tried to ignore for years could suddenly emerge. Right? Things you try not to think of when you're alone in a quiet place. So yes, it's not so quiet now. That's why we brought a loudspeaker. So that even the quiet, disturb the peaceful quiet in this place and make some noise, so that everyone can somehow or other appreciate Krishna. The 6 Goswamis, they were so absorbed in hearing chanting, they were just ecstatically exploring the unlimited qualities of Krishna. Taking inspiration from the Holy Dham, taking inspiration from the scripture, and then writing books based on scripture. And in this way, deeply absorbed in scripture. And of course, we are here at Govardhan. I think you might have noticed as we were arriving, if you were not still a little tired from last night. But we are at Govardhan. And of course, we are at Surabhi Kund. The pastime of Lord Indra and Surabhi and Airavata, coming after the whole ordeal is over, after the 7 days when Krishna has put down Govardhan, then in this area it is commemorated how Surabhi came along with Indra. It was Brahma's idea, because Brahma was thinking that Krishna is by nature inclined towards the cows, and since he's very upset with Indra now, it may be difficult for Indra to go before Krishna. But if he puts Surabhi in front, then that will soften Krishna up a little bit. So that was the strategy. And so Indra did it. But Surabhi, although she is a very sweet, wish-fulfilling desire cow, still she was also, is not naive. It's not that Surabhi was just taken along by Indra and used for Indra's purpose. Oh no, not at all. Surabhi was smart. So what Surabhi did is, Surabhi said, oh my dear Krishna, my dear Govinda, please accept our humble obeisances. You are the one who gives pleasure to the cows, Govinda. I said, yes. Indeed, you are protecting the entire universe. And therefore, you are the real Indra. And therefore, today on this occasion, we want to formally establish that. And we'll have an inauguration ceremony. And Surabhi started to bathe Krishna with milk. And in this way, establishing Krishna as Indra. And then, the worst thing was, that since Indra was locked into the whole thing and had to sort of pacify Krishna, he couldn't like go against Surabhi at that point. So Indra had to also partake. So he ordered Airavata to shower Krishna with transcendental waters from the Akash Ganga, the heavenly Ganga. And then that made on the other side of the hill Govinda Kund. And on this side we have Surabhi Kund. So, and we have a little further back to where we came from, we have Airavata Kund, also a kund dedicated to the transcendental elephant of Indra. So we see that Airavata, gets, although he's just an elephant, still get benefit, right? He still gets a lot of benefit by being able to bathe Krishna and things like that. There, one is greatly blessed. Anyway, so we can appreciate what was happening. I was just at Govardhan Puja, I was remembering one of my favorite exchanges between Indra and Krishna. And that is that Krishna is decided to have a look at Govardhan and to see what damage Indra had done with his thunderbolt. Because while Krishna was holding up Govardhan for 7 days, Indra during those 7 days didn't give up. He was still angry. So therefore with his thunderbolt he was like just beating the back of Govardhan all the time. So Krishna came to see afterwards what damage was there. And just then Indra appeared. And then Krishna looked at Indra and said, Indra, how could you act like this? You're supposed to be my devotee. And Indra said, well, I was proud. And then Krishna said, yes, that's okay, but you're supposed to control pride with intelligence. So that's very interesting, a good instruction. Right? And then Indra said, yes, but I was angry, and therefore I lost my intelligence. So that's how it all happened. So those are two interesting points, right? How intelligence, Krishna wasn't so upset. Oh, Indra, how could you be proud? That Krishna accepted. All right, you're proud. That is nothing special, that's normal. Everyone is proud. But you have to control it with intelligence. Yeah. So that's then for us, because that pride, we've got it. Who doesn't, have pride? False pride. But it has to be curbed by intelligence, and then anger is dangerous. We can see how anger can be very dangerous and do damage to ourselves. Therefore, it is recommended that we learn to forgive. That's Bhishma Dev. Bhishma Dev says, basically, anger means you cannot forgive. And that's very interesting. We all get angry sometimes. But think about it. It's just some thought, some Bhishma Dev's analysis. That when we cannot control our anger, it means we cannot forgive. So, anyway, we are here in this place, and I think we'll have... I always talk too much, and then I forget about prasadam, but I hope that all of you you've brought some prasadam? Huh? Are you hungry?
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah? So then maybe we take a little break, huh? Well, I'll chant some kirtan because I'm still I stay on Australian time, which is very nice. I get up really early go to bed really early, have breakfast really early. So everything is already done. And it feels really good to be ahead of the rest of the world. So you have your breakfast, please. And those who wish can sing with me. And you can also sit wherever, you can stand a little bit during, this is the break, you know. So you can stretch. Stretch whatever needs to be stretched. This is, those who want to swim can do that as well. I'll just quickly finish the Swami Astaka. So they appear just like madmen in the full ecstasy of love for Krishna, exhibiting different transcendental symptoms in their body, and they were merged in the ecstasy of Krishna consciousness. I offer my respectful obeisances to the 6 Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who were chanting very loudly everywhere in Vrindavan, shouting, "Queen of Vrindavan, Radharani, O Lalita, O son of Nanda Maharaj, where are you all now? Are you just on the hill of Govardhan? Or are you under the trees on the bank of the Yamuna? Where are you?" These were their moods in executing Krishna consciousness. So, where's Tanani? Where's Tanani?
We left like 15 minutes ago. We had to go somewhere.
Ja. Was sagst du? Etwas ist kaputt gegangen, was?
The kunst voor de Janja.
Wo ist er hin dann? Where is someone? Okay, you're the man, yes. I need a mission man for this. You know, no mental, just go get him, whatever is happening. Mm-hmm. He's the pujari in our family. He knows all the hocus pocus and all the mantras and mula mantras and mudras. He can put his fingers in impossible positions, I mean, things I could never do. So he's going to lead us in a little puja that we'll do, and then we'll carry on. So just as he's supposed to lead us, he has decided to disappear, which is not a good sign. Now I take some of that water. Good. I'll read a little bit about Govardhan, and then we'll go towards that hill and hope that was hat ihr dabei, das kaputt gegangen ist? Und dann was? Wir brauchen das doch überhaupt nicht. Wir machen einfach mit, was wir haben. Und was kaputt ist kaputt, ja? So ist es in der Welt, ne? Kein Problem. Kaputt. I think you all know kaputt, huh? You know kaputt? Kaputt means broken. Something is kaputt. I don't know what.
It's a synonym of correct. Correct.
Correct, huh?
Correct. It's correct.
It sounds.
Correct.
She's laughing so much.
Depends on what the ingredients are inside. Oh, it's just milk. Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's start some here. So I'll read a little bit from Jiva Goswami. He wrote he wrote the Gopal Champu, and it's very nice. The Yamuna's banks manifest great bliss and love. Gazing on the Yamuna shore, the wise devotees have a vision of Lord Krishna's nectar rasa dance pastimes. Did the Yamuna sprinkle on her shores a divine elixir in the form of grains of sand? A banyan tree makes our heart tremble. How can I describe the love a certain banyan tree feels for Lord Krishna? When Lord Krishna disappeared from this world, the tree thought, let Govardhan Hill and the other places stay in this world in their partial expenses. I have no power to stay. Then that tree also disappeared from this world. That was the banyan tree in Vrindavan, where Krishna would perform many pastimes, and it had such extensive branches that it would go all the way to the other side of the Yamuna, and the cowherd boys used to use it as a bridge to get across the Yamuna. Look at the deep love Vrindavan forest feels. Sometimes Lord Krishna's forest becomes stunned like a motionless mountain. Sometimes that forest trembles, its leaves and petals moving, suddenly pushing out many new sprouts. That forest sometimes stands with the hairs of its body erect in ecstasy. Why would Lord Krishna and his multitude Vraja of associates not wish to appear in that land of Vrindavan? We see their appearance in Vrindavan as very appropriate. Some pundits say that the land of Vraja is named for the multitudes of the Lord's associates. Vraja, one translation of the word Vraja is multitudes or many. Okay, one moment now. In the Vamanu Purana it is said, studded with jewels and glorious with mineral pigments, Govardhan Hill is glorious in Gokul. Its banks studded with jewels, the Yamuna, the best of rivers, flows in Gokul. The evidence of the scripture will be the resting place of this poem. That evidence will be like a board where I paint this picture. That is this poem. Now I'm looking for the poem. I always find this when I want it, but not today. Now I have to put a search on it. Come on. Okay, let's start now. While with many charming jewel boulders, the mountain named Govardhan offers a sitting place for Lord Krishna. With the cooing of many birds, Govardhan offers Lord Krishna a welcome. With its swiftly flowing streams filled with lotus flowers, durva grass, and shamak seeds, Govardhan offers padya. Padya means offerings at the lotus feet of the Lord. With limitless new shoots of darba grass, growing deer hoof print puddles, Govardhan offers arghya. Washing the mouth. With ponds where jati, lavanga, and cacao grow on the shores, offers achman. With fresh yogurt, ghee, and honey, Govardhan offers madhuparka. With water from a clear spring, at its summits, Govardhan offers bathing water. With golden tree bark, fine like silk, Govardhan offers garments. With fragrant powders, sandal paste, and red and white minerals, Govardhan offers fragrant ointment. With blooms of malati vines and other vines, Govardhan offers pleasing flowers. With the dust raised by the Surabhi cow's hoofs, Govardhan offers incense. With the glistening of its many jewels, Govardhan offers a glittering lamp even in the daytime. With charming ganja, peacock feathers, clusters of flowers, and many other pleasing objects, Govardhan offers ornaments. With pleasing fruits and roots, Govardhan offers delicious meals. With cool flower-scented water mixed with fragrant and pure tulasi leaves, Govardhan offers water to rinse the mouth. With champak flowers and other glorious blooming flowers moving in a gentle breeze, Govardhan offers arati. With budding nakul flowers and other trees, Govardhan offers a graceful parasol. With blooming branches moving in the breezes from the Malaya hills, Govardhan offers the service of fanning Lord Krishna. With the dancing of the cooing peacocks, Govardhan offers a festival of dancing. When attracted by Krishna's flute, music carried by the breeze, a gopi comes. Govardhan prepares a soft couch of flowers. With the cuckoos cooing, Govardhan makes sweet singing, gazing at Lord Krishna and performing these services to please him. Govardhan Hill confirms his reputation as the best of the Lord's servants. Nayana, what's the story?
Oh, wait, you see it.
Okay, yeah, what's the story?
We're ready. You ready? We're ready.
Okay.
When you are. Simple story.
That's a good story. I like that story. I like many qualities in Srila Prabhupada, but one quality I particularly like in Srila Prabhupada is that he was impatient. I think that's a nice quality. And Jananivas has been my servant for 3 years in the past, and he knows all about it. I like that quality of Srila Prabhupada.
So some strong man to come and help carry a bit?
Okay, need some strong men to help carry.
Or not so strong, not so heavy?
Yeah.